There is a moment today when the sky asks you to stop performing balance and actually practice it. Not the polished, agreeable version of balance you show other people, but the real kind, where your own opinion survives contact with someone else's. If you are a Libra, August 9th is quietly one of those days that reshapes how you handle money, mentors, and the people who test your patience. And there is a specific reason for that, hiding in the space between two very different planets. Stay with this, because the part most horoscopes skip over is the part that actually matters. The bigger picture right now, Chiron is moving through Taurus, and from an evolutionary astrology lens, this is one of the most important slow-moving stories of the year. Chiron is often called the wounded healer, and wherever it travels, it asks us to stop avoiding old pain and start experimenting with it instead. In Taurus, that means anything touching taxation, inheritance, investments, mortgages, leases, debts, and even the people who manage your money. It also touches family property and the financial threads tied to intimate relationships. This is not a transit asking you to fix everything today. It is asking you to get curious, to treat your financial or property situation like a many-sided crystal, turning it slowly to see angles you missed before. Layered on top of that, the western tropical sky is doing something faster and more social. The moon in Gemini is moving through the 9th house of learning and forming a supportive sextile to the sun in Leo, sitting in the 11th house of community and shared goals. In plain terms, a good idea in your head is finally ready to meet other people's eyes. Meanwhile, from the Vedic or sidereal tradition, that same lunar energy is read differently, with the moon positioned strongly in Taurus, a placement many Vedic astrologers consider quietly auspicious for steady progress toward long-term goals. Here is where the two systems, working from different starting points, end up describing the same lived experience. The Western reading says your big picture thinking wants company and feedback. The Vedic reading says guidance from someone senior, older, or more experienced will land with unusual clarity today. Put those together and you get a single, practical truth. Today rewards you for asking a teacher, a mentor, or a trusted elder to look at your plan before you finalize it alone. One more piece completes the picture. Starting tomorrow, communicative Mercury slides into that same 11th house of groups and technology, staying there until August 25th. That means the conversations you start now are not one-off moments. They are the opening scene of a 3-week chapter about who you collaborate with next. Love, you may have noticed yourself looking at people through a slightly rosier lens than usual. That is the Gemini moon and Leo sun again, this time warming your relationships instead of your ambitions. It feels good. It is also worth a gentle pause, because rose-colored glasses can blur the difference between someone who talks a confident game and someone who actually follows through. This is not a warning to become suspicious. It is an invitation to notice, quietly, who backs up their words with consistent action. There is a second layer here that deserves real attention. If a partner brings up a difference in beliefs, travel plans, or how much independence each of you needs, do not rush to smooth it over just to keep the peace. The instinct to agree for the sake of harmony is strong under this sky, but a real partnership does not need one person to disappear inside the compromise. Say what you actually think. The bond that can hold two honest opinions is the one that lasts. And if your own feelings have been sitting quietly in the background this week, this is a good day to actually listen to them instead of talking over them. Couples may find themselves bickering over small, almost silly preferences, the kind of disagreement that means nothing by tomorrow. Let it stay small. This is not the week to lower your standards just to avoid a minor friction. Career, that same instinct to speak your real opinion carries directly into your professional life, and this is where the 9th house energy becomes genuinely useful. The idea you have been sitting on, the pitch, the proposal, the course you want to take, is ready to leave the privacy of your own head. Bring it to the group, suggests the class. Invite a colleague into the plan instead of polishing it alone in a corner. Big picture thinking sharpens fastest when it meets other people's questions. From the Vedic side, this is also described as a day when guidance from someone senior can genuinely accelerate your growth, and learning itself becomes a direct engine for career motivation. Whether that senior figure is a manager, a professor, or simply someone further down the road than you, their perspective today is worth more than usual. Once Mercury moves into your 11th house tomorrow, you will have roughly 3 weeks where networking, group projects, and even social media exposure can carry your professional message further than solo effort would. Start building that room now because you will be filling it soon. Money. This is where Chiron's slow work in Taurus becomes personal rather than abstract. If you have been putting off a real look at taxes and inheritance conversation, a lease renewal, or a conversation with an accountant, the energy today favors experimentation over avoidance. You are not being asked to make a final decision. You are being asked to turn the situation over, look at it from an angle you have not tried yet, and treat any financial confusion as something to explore rather than something to fear. If a mentor or more experienced voice offers financial guidance today, it is worth genuinely absorbing rather than politely nodding through. That combination, a wounded healer transit softening old financial fear and a strong lunar placement favoring steady progress, is a rare pairing. Use it while it is here. Health. Here is the part of today that is easy to miss, and it might be the most important reframe of the whole reading. Most people treat Libra's famous need for balance as a personality trait. It is not. It is a nervous system strategy, and today's sky reveals exactly how it works. The Moon-Sun sextile is not just making you optimistic about other people. It is making it easier to avoid your own feelings, because agreeableness feels so much smoother than confrontation. The healthiest thing you can do today is not smooth over your inner world. It is to actually sit with what you feel before deciding how to respond to anyone else. Practically, that starts with something simple. Protecting close to 7 hours of sleep tonight will do more for your clarity and patience than almost anything else on this list. If patience feels tested today, notice the urge to snap and let it pass through you rather than out of you. Some Vedic practitioners may recommend Saturn-related remedies, such as specific mantras, for individuals whose birth charts show particular affliction patterns. This is not universal advice, and gemstone prescriptions in particular require personal chart analysis rather than a blanket recommendation for an entire sign. What is universally safe, though, is simply choosing a color that feels grounding to you today, whether that is the Vedic-favored blue associated with calm focus, or a warmer red that some intuitive readings suggest for courage under pressure. Wear whichever one actually makes you feel like yourself. Home and family. Picture an old photograph sitting on a shelf, one that captures a version of your family before certain disagreements existed. That image is a useful stand-in for what today's sky is doing at home. Old, minor tensions around taste or preference may surface, the kind of squabble that means very little in the long run. Let it stay small rather than symbolic. If a family member or close friend brings up something you disagree with regarding plans, distance, or future direction, this is another moment to offer your honest view instead of quietly folding. The same collaborative energy lighting up your career is available at home too. If there is a shared decision to make, a family project, or a group conversation that has been circling without resolution, today's sky favors bringing it into the open rather than letting it stay theoretical. Travel and spirit. There is something almost cinematic about the pull toward distance today, like standing at a crossroads where one path leads somewhere entirely unfamiliar. Some people may feel genuinely drawn toward the idea of a far-off escape, even something as vivid as the islands of French Polynesia, and that pull is worth noticing rather than dismissing as idle daydreaming. The ninth house, after all, is the house of travel, higher learning, and expanded horizons, and it is lit up strongly right now. Spiritually, this is a good day to treat your own inner compass the way you would treat a wise teacher. Listen to what your feelings are actually saying rather than translating them immediately into something more socially comfortable. Growth today looks less like a dramatic leap and more like an honest conversation with yourself about what you actually want, separate from what would be easiest for everyone else to hear. Lucky signs. Vedic tradition points to blue as a steadying color for you today, paired with a lucky window between 3 and 5 in the afternoon, a stretch worth protecting for important conversations or decisions. Another reading leans toward red as a color of quiet courage, useful if you expect to be tested for patience later in the day. Gemini energy, whether in a person or a plan, tends to pair especially well with your own this week, and community-oriented settings favor you more than solitary ones right now. Today's guidance, if today has a single thread running through it, it is this. Real balance is not the absence of disagreement, it is the ability to hold your own truth steady while someone else holds theirs. Bring your ideas to the people who can sharpen them. Bring your financial questions to the mentor who has already walked that road. Bring your honest opinion to the partner or family member you would normally agree with, just to keep things smooth. None of that breaks harmony. It is what real harmony is actually built from. Protect your sleep tonight, notice who backs up their promises with action, and let one honest conversation replace three polite ones. That is the shift this sky is offering you, quietly, all day long. And if you found yourself recognizing more of today in these words than you expected, that recognition is worth trusting too.